check out the burn next. That's it. I already have the Chieftain Bandit in my collection. It's getting harder and harder to find cars I don't already have.
The officiating was going on?
There was some flag guarding, flag football, where kids run, they put their arms down so you can't get the flag, which is a penalty.
Right, and it was not being called on Whitey as much as it was on your, let's say, 10 or 2.
Yeah, it wasn't so much with the officiating, but the kids on that team were you could tell they're very well coached into flag guarding, to run with their arms really low.
Like the white man does, he cheats. He cheats his fellow man.
That's what they do. Yeah. And so it got a little heated. We were like, hey, you're not calling the flag guard.
I remember the story, yes.
And then our whole sideline of parents got a little rowdy. I'm like, hey, got really into it. To the point where that coach and the other team was like, hey, look at our sideline. Look how classy we're acting. You guys have no flags.
Which is a kind of a dog whistle.
A little bit.
It's something that Trump might say at one of his rallies.
And it got real.
You know what? We're classy with our boat and our summer homes. Look at them being all not classy with their working class jobs and their.
Oh God, he does a good.
So I remember correctly though, when the shit went down, you sort of backed up.
Yeah, I pulled the Homer Simpson into the bush.
All right, fair enough.
So
now, flash forward to yesterday. You are playing that exact same team for the Super Bowl.
A lot of bad blood still there.
This is like a movie.
It is.
This is like the Bad News Bears, where you have to come around again. You face those same parents, those same people all over.
We played them twice during the regular season, and we split the series during the regular season. They beat us.
Literally was
a lot of bad blood. And they're the Redskins, which was really hard for me to deal with. It was hard because every time I see them do well, I'm like, it's natural for me to go, yeah. But we were the Rams, they're the Redskins. We're in the Super Bowl.
Where were the Eagles?
It's the rubber match. Eagles were in the Pro Division. They won the Super Bowl the game before.
Oh, all right. Just want to make sure that we're represented.
The Eagles are represented in the Pro Division.
Okay. Sure.
So we're playing. We get ready to play the game. Game starts. We get on the field first. We drop 4 passes in a row. And we're all like, oh, we're tight. We're coming out tight. This isn't good.
Yeah, everybody's all wound up.
Real wound up. So the other team goes down. We hold them to 4th down. They throw like this Hail Mary, and it's just a garbage touchdown on 4th down. We go down 8-0. We're just,
come on,
man, are you serious?
Get your guys to knock that shit down.
So our sideline starts getting a little chippy, and then we go down. And then we respond.
First of all, they went on 4th down. That's a big fuck you.
Well, you have to in flag football.
Oh, I don't know anything about flag football.
There's no punting. No, it's just 4 downs. You have 4 downs to get.
Still, I think it was a big fuck you. I'm pulling out my weapon at this point. So, all right. So now you're already 8 down, 8 points down.
8 points down. You get 4 downs to score. 4 downs to get to midfield. If you get to midfield, you get 4 more downs.
Gotcha.
That's how.
And your sideline's getting cranky because they didn't appreciate getting burned on that.
A little bit. And then we go down and we score really quickly. We're like, we answer. All right, we're back in it. 8-6. We didn't get the 2-point conversion. 8-6. All right. We hold them again. There's 5 seconds left in half before the half, right? They run a play. It's 4th down, turnover and downs. We get the ball back. We call timeout with 1 second left.
All right.
The other team starts walking on the field thinking there was no time left.
Oh, that was their mistake.
And they walk up the field, and we're like, no, we called a timeout. And they're like, no, you didn't. And we're like, yeah, we did. And then the referee's like, okay, we'll give the timeout. So you have you get the ball all the way back on the other end of the field with 1 second left. You basically got 1 play before halftime.
Right.
They're all mad because they have to come back out on the field. We throw this crazy play. The kids run all over the field. He scores like an 85-yard touchdown.
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs all over the field. And we go up right before halftime, 14-8.
Oh,
And they're pissed.
I love this movie.
And they're pissed because the refs let us have that extra play because
Right.
they didn't hear us call timeout or whatever. So it's getting really heated. So we have halftime, go back, start the 3rd quarter. They get the ball first. They're moving down the field. We get a pick 6
No way.
right out of the gate on 2nd down. So we're up now 21-8. And
It's good for the good guys.
It's looking pretty good right now. We're like, okay, we're going good. So they get the ball back. Now they're on their now we're on defense. They're driving down. Our kid goes to pull a flag, and the other kid comes up behind him and sort of like pushes him, like shoves him down on the ground a little bit, and twists the kid gets his ankle twisted.
Oh
So
no.
he's on the ground. At this point, the guy's dad, who got hurt, he's a longshoreman.
Oh boy.
He looks like a longshoreman.
Oh no.
Somebody you would not want to mess with. He's Juggernaut without the metal helmet. That's how big this guy is. He is huge.
Oh no.
He's on our team. He starts to go out looking at his son. He's like, that kid pushed my kid. That kid pushed my kid.
Oh, buddy.
The coach that yelled out the classless thing
Right.
a few weeks ago, he was like, why don't you shut up and get back on the sideline?
Oh,
At
no,
that point, Juggernaut starts running towards that guy, and everyone's like everyone wanted to get in front of him, but at the same time, like you don't want to step in front of a Mack truck. You just
Shut
kinda,
up, motherfucker.
You kind of want to act like you're gonna step in front of a Mack truck. And so he got up to the guy and he just shoved him, just gave him a
my
push right in the
Lord.
chest, and the guy goes flying back. At that point, all hell breaks loose. Like we're running out to get our guys. We finally get everybody off the field. They had to eject that father. That father's on Earth. The longshoreman's gone. Juggernaut's out of there.
God.
So Juggernaut's back in the parking lot. And then that coach from the other team comes over and starts pointing to other people on our sidelines who were talking trash during the game. Like he was talking trash too.
Oh boy. So now he's ratting out people.
Oh,
He's
my
being all
God.
big pussy.
And then that guy, he was trying to restrain himself, and all of a sudden his wife goes flying by him.
Juggernaut's wife?
No, this was another guy's wife. Another guy's wife. And she was more like, she was smaller than Juggernaut, but 4 times as mean as Juggernaut. She was going like, it was going to be Jerry Springer. It was really, and so we finally got that restrained. Everyone got to the sidelines.
What point of the game is this now?
This is like 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter. We're up
there's
21
plenty
8.
of game
There's
left.
plenty of game left. That coach on the other team's like, we're done. We're out of here.
No,
He makes his
he
whole
walks.
team leave. He walked the game. We win by forfeit.
Wow, what a pussy.
But he wouldn't have done it had they been winning. He wouldn't have
Of
forfeited.
course not.
He only forfeited because we crushed them.
Right.
With
And
that
so now
pick
he gets to
six.
say, oh, you know, if we had kept playing the game, we probably would have come back.
Because
and won.
the guy that shoved got ejected. He was gone. And we were standing back on the sidelines. We were
Let's
ready to
play
play.
it. Let's play
And
ball.
he came back out. And he started instigating more. Got the other person to run out.
How
and,
dramatic.
But it sucked for the
Oops,
kids
wrong one.
because the kids didn't get like the dramatic like the clock
Right.
goes down
They
to
didn't get
0.
to win the game. They
It was
didn't get
like-
to play the whole game.
They were standing over the sidelines like, oh,
Because a bunch
we
of
were-
grown-ups fucked it up and then by
Exactly.
being assholes.
Exactly, on both sides.
Which is always
both
the
sides.
horror you hear about all youth sports, and the one thing you want to avoid is that situation where the douchebag parents get in and they steal the spotlight from the kids and they ruin it for their
It was
kids.
awful. And what happened was the initial play when the kid got hurt, like he was laying there and he finally got started, like they were helping him off, like running off the field. And the kids on the other team were like applauding the kid off. Like it was like the
Kids get it better than grown-ups.
The kids were into it on both sides. They were
Right.
just like, we're just playing a game here. What's going on? Parents are fighting like 2-year-olds.
It's sad. You see it all the time. There's so many stories about parents ruining the stuff that's going on for their kids because they can't keep their perspective. And
No.
but in all fairness, it goes back to this guy too, the coach of the other team, who starts calling out people on being classless
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, if you're going to create that situation and you're going to face those teams again later on in
Yeah.
the year, that stuff's going to crop
And it was
up.
ready to go at the beginning of the game. It was I
Sorry
felt
to hear
bad
that.
for the kids because they were so like into the game. And none of the kids weren't like shoving or yelling at each other.
They just want to play
They
the
just wanna
game.
play.
They
And
want to play football.
They pull a flag, the other kid on their team's like, hey, great pull. Like, it's like they're into it, and then they're just standing over the side, like, what's going on? And I have to come over and tell them, like, oh, their other team's forfeiting. you guys won the Super Bowl. Like, how anticlimactic is that?
Bad sportsmanship, like racism, is taught.
Yeah.
You know, they really do get it from grown-ups.
It is.
It's not something that's
Yep.
inherent in children.
And all
They like to play together, and they will be often more helpful
Yeah.
and more
Honestly, say
accommodating
that.
than their grown-up counterparts.
Every once in a while, a kid will get a little mouthy or chippy, but 9 times out of 10, they're having fun.
When
out
we
there.
described one of our teachers to my parents, they had no idea he was black for years until they met the
Kids
guy.
didn't finish playing
And
the
my dad
game.
was shocked. He's like, kids never said he was
But your
black.
kids still won.
Didn't
Our kids
matter to
still
us.
won, but yeah, actually, we have the trophies. So
We
I
didn't
hope
see
you-
the, we saw the color, but it didn't
Go
matter.
put some tires in the parking lot.
yeah, we ride.
Not like we're colorblind. Just didn't matter to
That's
us.
the
You know, there
sad
was
story.
bigger things that were
It's
more
not
important
the
than the color of your
Super Bowl
skin.
recap I was hoping for. So when I was asking you earlier, when we stepped near the Batcave, Eddie was kind of stretching and stuff. I said, "Are you okay? You were playing the Super Bowl." He was like, So that was so the tension was just sheer, just muscular tension
No,
from you being forcing.
On the pick 6, I sprinted down the sideline in excitement, and I kind of tweaked a hamstring.
That'll teach you.
So
Do
before
something physical.
Before the race war broke out, I got excited on the pick 6.
That's funny. All right. Well, congratulations to those Rams. Anyway, I'm glad they won the Super Bowl. Colton got a trophy. Statue.
Of football.
He got a trophy, and now he'll always remember his
Race war.
race war Super Bowl. Thanks to all the members of the Garmy who've reached out over the weekend. By the way, I want to give a shout out to those guys. A lot of them were sending me emails asking me, speaking of physical assertion and sprinting, about my knee. I haven't talked about my knee in a while, and a lot of folks are saying, "What's up with your knee? We haven't heard. Are you getting surgery, or what's going on?" Well, here's the thing. My MRI results. You can't ever just find out about this shit. You have to sit down with a professional, and they go
Hey, how's
over
it going?
with you like you're a moron, and explain to them in excruciating detail. But it was delayed because I had to go to Florida to shoot this horror movie that I did with Kevin Smith. So when I got back into town, I was able to reschedule with my orthopedist,
Oh, those are done.
and he sat me down and we looked at the MRI, and he said thusly, "Well, it's good news and bad news," which you never want to hear,
No, it's
really.
not. You don't ever want to hear that in a doctor's office.
He said the good news is, yes, you do have a tear in your meniscus.
That's the good news.
That was the good news, but he said it is a slight tear, and the tear is not. I can't remember the term, but it's not torn away from the rest of
Oh, it's
the
still
meniscus.
attached to
It's
the
still
rest.
attached, so it's not flopping around to the point where they have to go in and snip it off.
We need that engine
with
thing over
an
here.
operation or anything to take it off. He said, so that is not an issue.
Right.
He said, however, we looked at your MRI, and there is some wearing away or damage to the cartilage at the end of the bone, between the other bones, that keeps your tibia and your fibia from rubbing together. It's not completely worn down, but there is some damage there that's either erosion or some sort of physical damage that has happened at some point in your life that we never noticed. You never had an MRI before now, so maybe that's what's happening. So they said it could be pre-arthritis, and it also could be the source of your discomfort. We don't know whether it's the meniscus issue or this issue. It could be either. The problem is, neither of them really dictates surgery at this point in any time. So what we need to do is go get physical therapy. That was their diagnosis at the end of the day. So I'm going to have to go to get physical therapy, and then if that doesn't work, cortisone injections or perhaps stem cell injections to the new thing now that help to increase growth in the cartilage and also in the meniscus can be very therapeutic. So there's a lot of processes we have to go through before we actually get to the surgery issue. So that's what it's very boring, and that's probably why I didn't tell the story before. But for those of you who asked, nothing really very exciting is happening in that thing. It's going to be a bunch of
More of a maintenance issue.
a lot of maintenance, yeah, and actually the pain is not so bad. It gets problematic once in a while, but I'm going to find my way, and maybe at some point I'm going to have to get some work done. But other than that, so nothing very dramatic going on. Yeah, I suppose. But I was kind of hoping. I told my wife, like, this is such a doctor answer. Well, we don't know. It could be, but then it could be. You never really get an answer to the doctor, which is what you want, which is, this is your problem. We're going to go in. Right. We're going to take that thing away from you, and then you're going to be great for the rest of your life. That's always the answer you want to hear from every doctor, and it's almost never the result.
It's always a round the bend sort of thing.
So that's my story, and thanks to everyone who cares about my knee. And actually, it's feeling pretty good.
You haven't
So
been limping up the stairs to the back?
they say that often, especially with slight meniscus tears, your body will start to compensate. Your musculature will start to find ways to support that part of the knee and take care of it. So with that and physical therapy and exercise and stuff, they say there's an excellent chance that I might be able to. This wearing away of the cartilage is more of a problem.
Yeah, the leg arthritis later in the road, knee
Right.
replacement type stuff.
And I was trying to think, what could that have been? And then it dawned on me about
All those orgies.
well, sure, it's that. Being on my knees a lot. But there was also a time back, I'm trying to think, I guess it was 15 years ago? No, better than that. I know my wife. Before I met my wife, maybe over 20 years ago, I was, maybe longer than that, maybe before I started as a rock. I was trying to get to my drug dealer's apartment.
Okay.
And she lived in a second floor balcony in Venice. And I knew she was awake, but she wasn't answering her phone.
Scale a balcony or
So I
something?
scaled a balcony, and I got to the second floor balcony. Really, I was very nimble at the moment. And I went to throw my leg over her balcony, and I tipped over backwards. And rather than plummet
Your desk?
to my death, I was able to grab myself onto the balcony railing. And here's the thing: you always see in the movies, the guy who grabs onto one-handed to the edge of a cliff
Like
or
the
the
rock
edge of a balcony.
skyscraper
Yes.
poster?
And they're falling, but they catch themselves.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, thank God." Let me tell you, the truth is, that's about 20 seconds. Because after about that 20 seconds, you can no longer support your entire weight with one hand, and you eventually will drop to wherever you're dropping
You had
to.
one arm pull up yourself?
I could not. And I dropped to the driveway beneath me, and both of my legs buckled to the point when I landed that my ankles and feet were up alongside my ears. Like I was on my back, and I looked to either side of myself, and there were my feet.
You landed flat-footed? And then they
More
went
or
up?
less. More or less. And then my knees collapsed, and then my body collapsed after that. So my legs were super hyperextended, as they say.
So you were probably 6'2" before this.
I was, yes, I was a 7-footer. And I just remember crawling back to my car to get home.
No drugs?
No. I had given up at that point. I was more
You really
concerned
did.
about being a cripple than I was about getting high. And I just remember my legs not working, not being able to straighten or lock. I couldn't step. I couldn't walk. So I literally had to marine crawl myself to my car to get into my car, and then operate the pedals by pushing down on my knees on the brake and the accelerator to operate my automotive.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think maybe that incident, way back in the day, may have done some damage to my knees. Now that I think of
When
it.
did you fully recover from that?
Obviously, I have not fully recovered.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I remember walking. I had no insurance. I was a bartender, so I know it was well before K-Rock because I got medical insurance for the first time ever when I had my job.
And a better drug dealer.
Yes. And I remember not being able to afford even a cane or crutches. So I used to play softball with some friends, and I had 2 softball bats, and I used those as canes to hobble along for about a week until my knees were able to lock on their own again and sort of function.
So what, you didn't tear
In retrospect,
everything in there?
I think it helped that I was kind of drunk at the time.
That's probably exactly why.
And I was relaxed, and everything sort of bended and flexed at the moment when I hit impact.
What kind of drugs were you trying to do?
Blow, of course.
Blow.
Yeah, cocaine. That's all I ever did. I'm not a lunatic.
I didn't know if it was weed or something. There's an easier ways to get weed, I would imagine.
I used to like to drink and then do blow.
Okay.
And then get hyped up again on the blow, and then I'd drink more to take
Come
the
down.
edge off the blow, and it was a wonderful game I used to play. Anyway, that's my knee. Thank you so much for asking. Also, thanks to everyone who sent in messages at the Ralph Report hotline, which of course is 1-833-HI Ralph, and you folks are very kind enough to leave your messages there. You can always leave a voicemail for me. I listen to all of them. I may not get back to everybody, but I listen to all of them. Just like I read every email that comes to Ralph@theralphreport.com. The voicemail messages are always fun. This one, surprisingly, Eddie, a lot of them are for you.
Oh, shocking.
There's a lot of voicemail
Very
messages
shocking.
that come in
Sure.
for you. People are asking questions about you. This one had to do with your tribute, your lovely and your lovely tribute to Aretha Franklin, who passed away last week. And Eddie admitted something about one of her biggest hits that a lot of people still are having a hard time processing.
You make me feel like a man or a woman. God damn it, Eddie.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised that Eddie thought the lyrics to Natural Woman were "You make me feel like a man or a woman." That happened. That's for real.
I told Tracy that when I got home. And, she was like,
What? Why would you admit that to a
She
group
had no
of
idea.
people?
I thought that, and then she's like, "Why would you say that recorded onto a radio show?"
Because you're an honest man. That's what we love about you. This gentleman also is. I think he's on the fence about Eddie Pence. I think sometimes he loves him, sometimes he hates him, and this seems to be the deal breaker, which is scary because he really gives no clue as to which way the answer will result in his final decision. But here we go.
Eddie fucking Pence, I have one question for you to solidify my hate or not of you. How do you eat your steak? Please tell me.
Wow, that is a loaded question because he doesn't tell you which way will make you fall in favor with him or out of favor with him. So it's up to you. When you have a steak, Eddie, first of all, what's your favorite cut of steak? What do you like to get?
Ribeye is my favorite.
I get a ribeye. When you get your ribeye, how are you eating? In what style
I
do you
eat
like?
it medium rare.
Medium rare.
Little blood in the center.
You know what? I don't know this guy's answer.
Is that all right?
It's a terrifying email or a voicemail to get because he doesn't really give you any hint. But I would think, as a steak fan, that seems completely acceptable.
I'm a steak purist.
I
don't like steak sauce. I don't like anything like garlic butter on my.
Well, we know you don't eat anything on your hot dog, so I can't imagine you put anything on your steak.
If it's a good if it's a good cut of steak, that's all the flavor you need.
That's how I feel. My wife, believe it or not, and my wife is a foodie. She is a person who has eaten in more Michelin star restaurants than anyone I know. I mean, she is a legit.
She's always cooking.
She is a food nut. She likes steak sauce. And I say to her, how can you put A1 on a nice cut of meat? You are ruining the reason you eat that meat is the taste, the flavor of that meat.
Especially a nice, like a
I
good
agree.
ribeye or porterhouse. You want blood red in the center, medium rare.
Well, I think you might have won that guy over. I don't know his answer.
Maybe not. Maybe
Maybe he'll call back and let us know whether you passed the test or
He
not.
likes it well done with ketchup.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? And I think that's what he was expecting from you, quite frankly. And I don't mean to put this on you, but I think he was thinking, given your track record with weird food issues,
Well done with ketchup.
you might have liked it well done with ketchup. So I think you may have saved yourself.
Hopefully.
You may have spared yourself. And then this email came from Dan Bauman, and I want to give Dan much love. He is a 3-star general. He is a theatrical sound designer in Atlanta, Georgia, and he has donated to us what I think is the perfect jingle for our new ongoing segment where we look at the Ziggy comic strip.
Oh, nice.
Ziggy is terrible. Ziggy has been with us since 1968. And again, this is the reason behind the majority of my outrage. Is not just that a lot of successful things come and go, and I get that, but this thing debuted in '68 and is still with us in 2018. That means 50 years Ziggy has been allowed to exist without being funny once. And I'm furious
No
about that.
accountability. No
Ziggy is
accountability.
terrible, and as I mentioned, we've read a couple of Ziggy cartoons out loud. And I said, if you have an idea for a Ziggy jingle, please send it along. And Dan Bauman sent this one in, and when I heard it, I was like, it's kind of genius. Here is Dan's tribute to how much Ziggy sucks. Ziggy's That's a bit short.
That sums it up.
Ziggy's terrible from Dan Bauman. For those of you who did not look at Ziggy over the weekend, I pulled out one of the weekend Ziggy's. It is from, Saturday, I think.
Brilliant.
A lot of people suggesting, nothing against you, Eddie Pence.
No,
a lot of people
you're the
suggesting
voice
that
guy.
maybe I should voice Ziggy.
Absolutely voice Ziggy. You're the voice guy.
Because, not that you're not trying,
No.
but you have a hard time with
Words.
lowercase i's,
Upside down
words. So this is the Ziggy from the weekend. It is Ziggy. And I even know the character of Ziggy. It's a small, bald, fat man with no pants.
Or sense of humor.
Or sense of humor. And he says things that I guess are supposed to be comic, but it's a one-panel comic strip, and it's never fun. Ziggy is terrible, is what we're saying. That's why the new one.
Ziggy's terrible.
Ziggy is terrible.
Good voice.
So Ziggy is standing there in a void. It's very artistic. He's standing in a void. He's staring out at the viewer, at the reader. And here's what he says.
I know we should all try to avoid advertising our shortcomings, but I feel like mine keep running during the Super Bowl.
What?
You almost feel like there should be something coming after that.
There should be more to that.
It's not the setup at all. That was the setup and the punchline. One more time. Here we go. This is Ziggy and the setup and the punchline of what is called a comic strip.
I know we should all try to avoid advertising our shortcomings, but it feels like mine keep running during the Super Bowl.
By the way, you have to remember, that took place in August. That comic strip. That wasn't something that...
The month we're in, right now.
That wasn't the one that aired in January.
During the
Oh,
Super
shoot,
Bowl.
wrong size.
Apropos.
But even then, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, now.
Let's talk about Colton Super Bowl.
Right? Maybe.
Maybe.
It all ties
Maybe he's
in.
got his finger on the pulse.
The way we kick off every episode, of course, is take a look at the big calendar here in the Batcave. It is the list of national and international holidays. Not all of them are reasonable. Some of them are complete bullshit, and that's why we have this ongoing segment called Holiday or Holiday.
Holiday or holiday, please tell me what we celebrate. Ralph Garman.
Eddie and I were just talking before we got on the air that some people are complaining that we changed the order of the jingles before and after this segment. Listen, we want everyone to be happy, but at the end of the day, it's
You can't make everybody.
right.
It's not possible.
And we all recognize, like, oh, that makes much more sense to put that one in front because it literally asks the question, and then we do the thing, and then we wrap it up with the funny thing at the end.
And we were against it at the beginning,
Right.
and then we played it.
And this
like,
guy said,
this
try
makes
that, and we
sense.
listened, and we're like, oh my god, he was right, we were wrong. We're the worst, he's the best.
And now there's a whole clamoring.
Now people are like, no, go back to the old original way. They were better in the old times. It's like a week ago. Just stop it. Just stop it. Here we go. It is all the holidays for today, Monday, August 20th. It is, and I'm putting this one up front. It's a food one.
Oh, right,
Usually
okay.
we save those for the end,
Yeah.
but I know the answer, and I'm not going to dwell on it because we're just going to move on. Because we already been through this with Eddie and pecan pie, so I can imagine National Chocolate Pecan Pie would make no difference one way or the other how Eddie feels about them. So let's just accept it for what it is. And by the way, I'm not on Eddie's team when it comes to pecan pie, but I have to say I don't like the holidays where you start to split the hairs with the day. If pecan pie has a day already, don't come back at me for a second bite of the
Chocolate.
apple and say, oh, it's chocolate pecan pie day. Oh, and 3 months from now it's going to be strawberry pecan day. Fuck you. You get one pecan pie day and that's it for you. Move
It's my
on.
least favorite.
Who has nuts
I'm just saying,
in a favorite order?
out of a bag of
How
nuts.
does anyone know
Big
what
nut.
their favorite or least favorite
It's
nut
chalky.
is?
It's a chalky nut. It's a dry, chalky nut. I don't like it. It's not my favorite. It's my least
I
favorite.
tried to let you off the hook by not drilling
know,
on
I
this,
can't.
and you have to volunteer that you have a least favorite nut. Who lives their
I
life
obviously-
that way?
I
Who has their nuts prioritized?
I obviously am on the spectrum, and I cannot shut my mouth.
No shit! Who knew that you needed this much help?
And honestly, just comes out.
It is also Discovery Day. This is for all our Garmy members up there in Canada. Discovery Day is an annual event in the Yukon in Canada. So it makes me think of Yukon Cornelius from
Gold.
that's right, from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Yeah.
Reindeer Christmas special.
Yeah.
I'm Yukon Cornelius. I'm looking for silver and gold. Nothing. Yeah.
Bubbles bounce.
Bubbles bounce. It is an homage to the discovery of gold by Jim Mason in Bonanza Creek in 1896 up there in the Yukon. It created a giant gold rush in the Yukon. Important to the Yukon. Why? Because it became established as a Canadian territory because it became so rich. And so today, Discovery Day up there in the Yukon, they actually celebrate it, and they celebrate becoming part of Canada. So, look, it's a great part of the world, I'm guessing. Never been up there. Seems cold.
Too cold for my liking.
More in Calgary.
And I know we've had folks from the Yukon attend Hollywood Babylon shows and what have you. Sounds cool. So much love to them. There's also National Radio Day. I'm not familiar with radio. I don't understand that meaning. Still around. Everyone involved with radio suck my left nut. No, look, radio's great. A lot of great people came out on radio. I don't know what the future of radio is. I think it may be troubled. It may be a troubled medium. I think podcasts may be the future of communication when it comes to spoken word.
It's become such a pick your poison sort of entertainment world. It's kind of hard to have a general station. Like podcasts, you just download what you want to listen to.
Yes. And it's a boutique world where you can kind of pick and choose your entertainment, and you can get it that way. And I know in radio they throw away a lot of people that do a lot of good work for them, and they just toss them aside.
There's one guy I know.
I don't know anybody. I don't know that guy.
Can't think of his name right now.
I'm just saying, but it is National Radio Day. So if you still enjoy radio, good for you. And if you work in radio, especially a particular radio station, once again, lick my butt. It's also National Day of Medical Transporters.
I'm all for that. That's probably a tough job. Is that like helicopter?
I'm sorry, did I say International Day of Medical Transporters? This started back in World War I, where the field ambulances transported those in need of medical care to facilities where they could be treated. Then it started to roll over into orderlies and hospitals, and then of course the ambulance drivers and the EMTs that take care of people in the field. I can't imagine a more high-stress, important position than the folks, the first responders who show up on the scene when people need medical help, and there they are.
I have a friend's husband in San Diego in the Marines, and he does a helicopter during battle. We'll go in and
oh my God,
push people out. I'm like, wow, you're
right.
I mean, you're not even fighting. You're trying to get people wounded out, and you're taking fire, and you don't fire back.
Nothing better than that. Right, you're not fighting. You're just saving lives.
Saving lives. You can't get
under
covered.
The worst possible
situation.
situations.
It's insane. So hats off to all that stuff.
So God bless all the medical transporters out there, all you EMTs, all you ambulance drivers, all the people, the orderlies who work in hospitals who move patients from ERs to their rooms and stuff. Stat, when people go south, God bless you, and we're thinking of you. It's also Homeless Animals Day. Look, I'm gonna go let shit. Not me. I like animals. I want animals to be taken care of. I think as a society, you can judge a society by how well they treat their pets and animals. I get it. And homeless animals, the animals that fill shelters and the ones who are abandoned by their owners and stuff, it is heartbreaking, and I get it. And I'm not denying that Homeless Animals Day isn't a day where we should take a moment and think about those animals and try to do better. But as long as there are still human beings living on streets and people who, children and mothers who don't have veterans, the folks who have protected us abroad and domestically, and folks who have nothing to eat and no place to live. I'm not saying one is better than the other or more necessary than the other, but as long as there are human beings in need on the streets and the mentally ill, there's such a major problem. Especially, maybe I'm sensitive to it because here in Los Angeles we see that. Well, you seem to deal with it more than a lot of cities.
Every day you see it.
It breaks my heart, and I'm not saying we can ignore the problem of homeless animals, and it shouldn't get attention. And today is Homeless Animals Day, as I mentioned. That's fine. Let's try to find homes for animals, but at the same time, let's not lose our perspective in terms of priorities. And I think that, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, so be it. I think animals are great, and we love them, and we want to protect them, but as long as there are still people living on the streets and living under cardboard boxes and living in conditions that you wouldn't want an animal to live in, quite frankly.
Any living thing.
Maybe we want to adjust our
address that. I mean,
Our passion.
yeah, I know you can address more than one thing.
I know,
That
and they're
is-
not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we should not have a day where we acknowledge homeless animals, and I get that. I guess I'm sort of inured to the argument where a lot of people, and partially it's PETA and people like it, where they just put animals above and beyond all other causes, and I think it's a valid cause, it's an important cause, but I think also at the same time you need to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
You need to rank your priorities and make sure that it seems comfortable and reasonable as a human being who should love other human beings and want to help other humans as much as you want to help
And that will
kitty cats and puppies and
filter its way down. You take care of the people, hopefully.
Ideally.
Ideally.
So, again, don't hate me. I'm just saying. I'm not saying don't help the kitty cats and the puppies.
But if you're gonna get a pet, adopt. Don't go
Of
to
course,
don't
yes.
go to a pet shop.
That
go to a
being
shelter
said,
and adopt.
that a little editorial thing being said, if you want to get a dog or a cat or anything,
Adopt.
go to a shelter, especially a high kill shelter, and rescue those dogs and cats and take care of them and make sure the animals are well taken care of, because yes, they are friends and our companions and they give unconditional love, and I appreciate that, and well, cats, but dogs especially, just take care of them, and I get that, and I'm just trying to say, let's keep things in perspective. It's also World Mosquito Day. Fuck mosquitoes,
Wait, why would
right?
you
We can all agree on that.
I think they don't deserve a day.
Well, they're not celebrating the mosquito, Eddie. They're
Sounds
actually
like
trying
right.
to use it
That's
to recognize the mosquitoes as cause of malaria.
It's not
And
World Fuck Mosquitoes Day.
they're trying to recognize that the cause of malaria is mosquitoes, and they want to cause awareness and also fundraising for research into the cure of malaria, because many countries still have problems with mosquitoes being the cause of malaria.
Malaria, West Nile, all that
That's the
stuff.
problem. Here in the States, we even have a problem with the West Nile.
They found it over here in Sherman or Valley Village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Scary.
mosquitoes blow. If there is a God, I don't quite understand his grand design for the
Mosquitoes
mosquito.
and gnats, I don't really understand either one.
So keep that in mind and donate to whatever cause you can find
Question your religion.
that fucks mosquitoes over. And okay, now we've saved our food, our real question mark, to see how Eddie feels about